everyone, my name is Jessica. Welcome to your practice. This is a gentle yoga practice that is very beginner friendly. So if you are brand new to yoga, or maybe you're not new to yoga but you've taken a break from yoga and you're just easing back into it, or maybe you're specifically looking for a yoga practice that will keep you off of your hands. This practice is going to have very minimal amount of time with weight on the hands and the wrists. So if that area is tender for you, only a few moments will be spent there. Everything else is going to be either seated, standing, or reclined. If you have two blocks handy, that would be great. But if you don't have them, don't sweat it. You can still do the practice without them, okay? So I invite you to work through this practice with me, and if anything doesn't feel right, please back off and just listen to your body, do what's best for you today, okay? So we'll start in a seat, and if you can either sit on a block or a blanket in some way to elevate the hips, that would be great. So I'm gonna sit in easy pose with just my legs crossed, but if there's another manner in which you prefer to sit, I invite you to find that so that you can sit up nice and tall, okay? Elevating the hips will help us lengthen the spine, allowing the knees to be lower than the hips. So as you find your comfortable seat, lifting the collarbones, feel the crown of the head float up. You can hands can rest in your lap or your knees. And we'll just take a moment to arrive here. Take a big breath in and complete breath out. Let's do that again. Big breath in and full breath out. Good. Let's begin to add a little movement with our breath. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, seal the hands into the heart. Do that again. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, hands come into the heart. Good. A little different this time. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. On your exhale, make a cactus shape with the arms. So you're pulling your arms down into that goalpost shape. Again, inhale, reach up. Exhale, draw the elbows down in that cactus shape. Good. One more like that. Inhale. And exhale, draw those elbows down. Good. We'll keep the arms in that cactus. Point the fingers up, and then on your next exhale, rotate the fingers down. So just a little bit of movement through the rotator cuff. Inhale, reach the fingers up, and exhale, rotate them down. That's my dog Tucker right there. Inhale, reach the fingers up. Exhale, rotate them down. Good. Inhale, reach the arms up. And then inner elbows, inner wrists squeeze together. See if you can get the elbows to shoulder height. As you keep the elbows together, draw the wrists apart from one another. So sort of like our eagle arms, but this is called an active range motion. Eagle arm variation with the arms. Take one more inhale. Good. Exhale, let that go, and maybe take a few shrugs with the shoulders. Nice. Okay, reverse the cross of the feet if you're sitting in easy pose, just because we've been here for a moment or two, and we want to allow ourselves to find a little bit of balance with that seated posture. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, make that cactus shape again. Feel really broad through the chest, and then draw your hands behind you. Hook the thumbs. Fingers slide down, heart lifts. Get really broad through the chest. Allow the shoulders to roll back and the shoulder blades to come down together on the back. Big inhale here. Good. Exhale, let that go. Good. Inhale, arms out to a T. Very broad through the fingers, through the collarbones. Exhale, left arm sweeps across the body. Now the opposite arm can gently hug that forearm in, and then maybe you look over the left shoulder. Breathe into that left shoulder and the left shoulder blade there. Take a big inhale and exhale. Very good. Inhale, arms out to a T. Exhale, right arm draws across. Same thing, you can gently hug that in, never forcing, just gently guiding. Allow the right shoulder to soften down and then look to your right. Breathe into the right shoulder blade. Spine is nice and long. Inhale and exhale. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms broad again. On your exhale, tent the fingers onto the shoulders. Inhale, lift the collarbones. On your exhale, turn to your right. So just a gentle twist to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale, twist the other way. We'll do one more full set. Inhale. Exhale, turn to your right. Inhale through center. Exhale, turn to the left. Good. Inhale through center. Can let that go. And this time we'll make our way to table posture. So you can set the blocks off to the side. And we'll just spend a little bit of time in our table posture, hands and knees. If your knees need extra padding, you could grab a blanket or a towel and put them underneath the knees so that the kneecaps are happy. And then go ahead and spread your fingers really wide. On your inhale, we'll come into the back bends. Lift the chest, lift the tail. On the exhale, we reverse that, finding that spinal flexion, doming the upper back, pulling the navel up and in. Couple like that. Inhale, guide the heart forward. Exhale to scoop and round. Let's do two more. Inhale through the nose, maybe looking up as you find that gentle back bend. Exhale, scoop and round, pull the navel up and in. One more, inhale. And exhale. Good, inhale to neutral. We'll find a lateral cat-cow next. So look over your left shoulder and at the same time, draw the left hip and the left shoulder together. So you feel those obliques shorten on the left side. Inhale through center. Exhale, go the other way, gently looking over the right shoulder, squeezing hip and shoulder together. Inhale, center. Let's do one more each side. Inhale, shorten the left side waist. Inhale, center. Exhale, go the other way. Good, inhale, center. Exhale, hips back to the heels. This is called child's pose. The hips reach for the heels. The big toes are together. The knees could either be together touching or wide. And then the arms can reach long or they could tuck next to you beside your legs if you prefer. Inhale. And exhale. On your next inhale, make sure the arms are reaching overhead. Take your time to come into the table posture. Once again, the knees are under the hips. Inhale the left leg straight back. Toes will be on the mat here. Let's find a gentle rock back and forth through that left heel. Bring your awareness to the calf muscles, the Achilles tendon. You might feel this in the bottom of the foot as well. One more cycle just to gently rock here. Good. And then let that go. Second side, inhale the right leg straight back. Toes are on the mat. If that gentle rock feels good to you, just move through that. If you prefer to hold this stretch statically, of course, you can do that too. Maybe one more cycle of breath here. Good. And then go ahead and release that. If you're comfortable with downward facing dog, that's going to be our next pose. If you prefer to stay in table or child's, feel free. Otherwise, tuck the toes, float the hips up and back.
pressing the mat away with the hands. Very brief downward facing dog. We're really just using this as a transition. Slowly walk your hands back to your feet. Generous bend in your knees as you find your forward fold at the back of the mat. Your feet can be as wide as you need them to be. Make sure your toes are pointing forward. Head hangs heavily in this forward fold. Begin to press down through the feet. Inhale to a half lift, pulling the heart forward. Exhale, release, fold, touch down. Let's do that again. Inhale to the half lift. On your exhale, hands to your hips. Press through the feet. Inhale, we rise, come all the way up. Finding our mountain pose. I'm going to turn to face you now. So as we find our mountain pose, the feet will be underneath the hips. We're rooting down through the base of the big toe, the base of the little toe, and the heel bone. The palms spin forward, collarbones are broad and lifting. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, hinge and fold, touch down. Inhale to that half lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale to reverse your swan dive, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Good. If you have that block, go ahead and grab it. We're going to place the block like you see me holding it here. So this is the face of the block, and that will face forward as you bring it in between your calves. So you'll squeeze the block vigorously. The toes point dead ahead. We're going to start to work on a little bit of balance here. So if you need to be close to a wall, just for a bit of stability, feel free to move to a wall and just have that nearby, or even place a hand on a wall if you feel more secure there. On an inhale, squeeze the block and come onto the toes, float the heels, maybe just a little bit off the mat, doesn't have to be high. And then gently set that down. We'll do that a few times. Squeeze the block, inhale, come onto the toes, float the heels. Exhale, come down. One more just like that. Inhale, come onto the toes. Exhale, set it down. Good. Just make sure the block is secure as you're squeezing it in between your calves. And then we'll try a different way this time. Squeeze the block, sink the hips down and back into your chair pose. So shins, thighs go back, heart stays high. We'll make this dynamic. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, squeeze the block, hips go down and back. Arms can be wherever you'd like them to be. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, sink it down and back, chair. One more, inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale, come to stand. Now we're going to try to put these two things together. So make sure the block is secure. Mine keeps wiggling a little bit. So I'm just going to make sure that it's firm in between my calves. And then we'll come onto those toes again. So float the heels. See if you can keep the heels lifted and slide down into your chair pose with heels lifted. I have my arms out in front of me as a counterbalance, so you can do that if you'd like. Heels come down, you're in that chair pose. There's more weight in the heels now. Inhale, press to stand. Let's try it again. Inhale, lift onto the toes, heels up. Exhale, slide down into that chair pose with the heels lifted. Heels down, more weight in the heels. Take an inhale. Exhale, press to stand. Good job. Go ahead and remove the block. Set it off to the side. And then we'll take a big wide step out. Okay? So wide legs here. Setting up for our warrior poses.
So to begin with, warrior two, right leg leading. Right toes will point forward. We'll put a bend in the front knee. The knee, the ankle, and the toes track in the same direction. And then we'll check to make sure we've got our feet lined up. So front heel lines up with the arch of the back foot. And those back toes should be slightly angled in, pointing toward the front of your left mat. The left front corner of your mat, roughly speaking, okay? So the pelvis is level. We're bending into the front knee. The shoulders square to the long edge of the mat and the arms reach. Now let's match breath with movement. Inhale, straighten the front knee, float the arms overhead. Exhale, rebend the front knee. Little different. Inhale, straighten the front knee, arms float down. Exhale, arms out to a T. Inhale, straighten, arms overhead. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, straighten, arms float down. Exhale, warrior two. Good. Keep the legs as they are. Inhale, reverse your warrior, reaching back. Very good. Inhale, come back through center. Straighten the front knee. Turn all 10 toes to the long edge of the mat. Take an inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, we'll set up warrior two going the other way. So now your left toes are pointing forward, left knee over the left ankle. Make sure to adjust your back foot. So once again, heel lines up with the arch of the back foot, and those back toes are angled in slightly so that you can press down through the inner and outer edge of the back foot. Upright the pelvis, spine is nice and long. You're bending deeply into that front knee, arms reach. Let's find that graceful movement again. Inhale, straighten and sweep. Exhale, slowly rebend, warrior two. Inhale, straighten, arms float down. Exhale, warrior two. Two more, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, straighten, arms float down. Exhale, warrior two. Now, legs stay as they are. Inhale, reverse your warrior, reaching that front arm back. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, straighten. Turn all 10 toes to the long edge of the mat. And I'd love for you to have your block out in front of you so that it's just set up for where we're going to go next. And if you don't have a block, anything that can function as a block is helpful. And if that's not available, don't worry, you can still do this. Inhale, reach the arms wide. Exhale, hinge and fold. Hands come down. You can put a bend in your knees here if that feels better, or go wider. And let's take that block, and what height you need the block to be at is really dependent on you. But the reason why we're using the block is because I want you to find a nice, long, elegant spine before we twist. So left hand on the block, and the block is going to be roughly underneath the throat. So the spine is long first. Bring your right hand to your right hip, and then just turn the chest to the right. You can let the hips follow the spine as you turn. And if it feels good to reach the arm, you could, but the arm is really just an accessory here. So it's up to you about whether you reach that arm or not. You might experiment with both and see what feels more spacious. Inhale, get a little bit longer and turn. And exhale, come through center. Good. Okay, we'll set it up on the other side. So the right hand will be on the block. Lengthen the spine forward first, hand on the left hip or sacrum, and then just a gentle twist to the left. No need to overdo, just turning the rib cage, and then remember, the pelvis can follow as you turn if that feels better to you. It feels more free and spacious. Long spine. You could reach the arm if you'd like, but if that ends up feeling restrictive, don't worry about it. Take one more inhale. And exhale, let that go. Good. Inhale to lengthen the spine one more time. Exhale, hands to your hips. Inhale, come all the way up. And then heel toe the feet together. Good. Very good. Okay, a little bit more balance work. Let's take our block. On its lowest setting, we're going to stand on the block, okay? So you're standing on the face of the block. Let's put the left foot on the block first and come to, just let the right leg dangle, okay? Stand firmly into the left foot. Hug the left outer hip to midline. And then if you have a little bit more here, you could stay with this, or if you want a little bit more, start to draw circles with that right foot that is dangling. This is introducing more instability to this balance work, which is how we train balance, right? Go the other direction with your circles. You can keep your hands wherever you'd like. Good. Maybe one more breath. Nice. And then pause your circles. Take your time to step off the block. And then we'll go to the other side. So, standing on the block with your right foot. Find your balance first. Hands can be wherever you'd like them to be. Stand firmly in the right foot, hug the right outer hip into midline. With the leg that's dangling, we'll find those circles. Any range of motion, could be very small circles. Any amount of instability that we're willing to work with is going to help us work on our balance. It's going to help improve our balance. Good, go the other direction. Very good. So balance is something we can all improve. It's not necessarily something that we're naturally good or bad at. It's just something that we're either training and improving or not using. So if we're not using it, it doesn't really know how to function. Good, one more inhale. Exhale, come to stillness, and then gently step off. Good. Set that block off to the side. You might be feeling something interesting in your outer hips or butt. That's more or less what we were working there in our balance work there on the block. Okay, a more traditional yoga balance pose now. So first, let's get used to just standing in one foot at a time. Inhale, float the right knee up. You could bring it as high as your hip, or you could keep it very low and then replace it back to the mat. Second side. Inhale, left knee floats up. Any height, doesn't have to be dramatic. Exhale, set it down. Let's do one more set just like that. Inhale, right knee floats up. Exhale, set it down. Inhale, left knee floats up. Exhale, set it down. Let's add on to that. Inhale, right knee floats up. Turn the knee out to the side. External rotation, very simple. Bring it back to center. Set it down. Find your feet underneath you. Inhale, left knee floats up. Exhale, open to the side. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, set it down. Okay, now you're prepped to build tree pose. So, come to your right toes. Turn the knee out. You can bring the foot to the ankle so that the toes are still on the mat, or you might slide the foot up to the calf. If you want to help the foot find the upper inner thigh, you can go there as well. But please remember, these are just 3 different options, and one isn't inherently better than another. They're just different options. Keep the pelvis pointing dead ahead. Stand up nice and tall. Maybe the arms float out to a T. Maybe you reach the arms overhead. If you want to challenge the balance a little bit, you might be holding your balance pose, and perhaps instead of looking dead ahead, you look over to the side. That will challenge the balance. Or even turning the head will challenge the balance. Good. Inhale, hands to heart. Exhale, step out of it. And just take a moment to feel the feet on the earth. Inhale. And exhale. Second side. Inhale to the left toes. Turn the knee out. Once again, you have 3 options. The foot can just find the ankle. This is the most stable option. A little bit more challenging would be foot on calf or way up in the inner thigh. So basically anywhere but the knee joint. After you have that placement, the foot and the leg pressed together, the pelvis points forward. Maybe you try a different variation with the arms this time. You could even bring your arms behind you. You can have your hands in prayer. You could take one arm up and the other arm down. You might work with your arms in a fluid manner. If there are shakes and quakes of the standing foot, that's the physical body's innate intelligence helping you to stabilize here. So please don't think that a little wobbling is a failure in a balance pose. One more inhale. Exhale, hands to heart, step out of it, take a breath. Very good. Okay, we're gonna step to the top of the mat now. And if you have those blocks, I'd love for you to have one block on either side of the mat, because we're gonna step back to some lunges, and those blocks will be helpful for us. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, hinge and fold, bend the knees as much as you need to. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, hands on the blocks, bend your knees. Right foot takes a big step back. We'll make sure the front knee is over the front ankle and then let the back knee come down. The blocks are on either side of the front ankle. Lengthen the heart forward. You're welcome to stay just right here or walk your hands to the top of that left thigh. Okay? Press the left foot down. If your back knee is tender, make sure there's a blanket or a towel underneath that knee to give it more padding. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, make that cactus shape with the arms draw down. Again, inhale, reach. Exhale to cactus. One more, inhale. And exhale. Good, inhale, reach. Exhale, hands to the blocks, tuck the back toes, press the leg to straight, take an inhale. Exhale, step forward to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, hands to the blocks, bend in the knees, left foot, big step back. Once again, front knee is stacked over the front ankle, and then we let the back knee come down. Press into the right foot. The back toes could be tucked or untucked. You decide what feels better to you. And of course, you're welcome to stay here or walk your hands up to the top of the thigh. Lift the heart, lift the frontal hip points. As you're ready, inhale, we reach up. Exhale, make that cactus shape with the arms. Inhale, reach. Exhale, draw down. One more, inhale. Exhale, draw down. Good, inhale, reach. Exhale, hands down. We'll step back to a table posture now. You can place the blocks off to the side for now. And then a couple of options. You could move through some cat-cows in your table. You could take a child's pose or a brief downward facing dog. You decide what feels good right now. We're just here for a cycle of breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, rock forward. If you're in that down dog, go ahead and release your knees and we'll lower all the way down, setting up for our Sphinx pose. So in Sphinx pose, the elbows are underneath the shoulders. The forearms are out in front of us. And this is a really beautiful way to open up the chest. So point the toes back. As the forearms press down, they isometrically drag back while the heart moves forward and the collarbones broaden. Press the pubic bone down, let the inner ankles be long. Take a big inhale and exhale. One more inhale in your Sphinx pose. Good, exhale, melt the chest down. Allow your hands to come back beside the mid-rib cage. Point the toes. Press the toenails down. Inhale to scoop the heart up. This is our Cobra pose, Bhujangasana. Shoulder blades hug together and down on the back. One more inhale to lift the heart. And exhale, lengthen out and down. Good. Take an inhale. And exhale. Inhale to press up to hands and knees. And if you recall those lateral cat-cows we did earlier, we're going to do that again. So look over your left shoulder, squeeze left hip and left shoulder together. Inhale, center. Exhale, go the other way, shortening the right sideways. Good, inhale, center. Exhale, hips back to the heels, child's pose. Reaching the arms long. See if you can take the knees wide for this child's pose. And then if you're happy right there with the arms reaching straight ahead, feel free to stay. Otherwise, the arms will take a big step to the left and you breathe space into the right side of the body. Whole right side of the torso is getting a nice lengthening here as you press the right sitting bone back. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Inhale, step through center with those arms. And exhale, just go the other way. Big step to the right. Now you're breathing into the left side body. Left sitting bone presses down. Big breath in. And out. One more inhale. Good. Exhale, let that go. And then we'll take our time to make our way to our backs. Okay, so go ahead and roll on down. And if you're more comfortable padding the neck, you can lay out your blanket and pad that cervical spine before you roll on down. Okay. All right. So we can allow a bend in the knees. A little bit of a hip opener here, right ankle above left knee. This is our figure 4. And you can either stay with this, maybe press the right thigh away with your right hands, or you might reach for the back of the left thigh and gently hug that in. So you've got some options there. Maybe 2 more cycles of breath with this figure 4. Breathe into any spaces that feel tight, restricted.
And as you bring your awareness to those spaces, can you just send that softening breath to them? One more inhale. Good. Exhale, both feet down. Let's go to the second side. Left ankle above right knee. And then you've got those options. You might explore the same thing on the second side, or the second side might need something a little bit different. So be willing to investigate that. Again, bring your awareness to any areas where there might still be a grip, and then can you soften and release in those areas? Another full cycle of breath here. Inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. Good. Exhale, both feet down on the mat. Let's draw the knees into the chest, maybe a little rock from side to side if that feels good. Good. Okay, let's keep the left knee hugging in, send the right leg long. Just a simple compression here on that left front of the hip. Big inhale. And exhale, both knees in. Let's go to the second side. Right knee stays in, left leg goes long. And of course, if you want to hold these poses for longer than what I'm offering here, feel free to linger here as long as you'd like. One more full cycle of breath. Good. Inhale, come through center. And then before we set up our twist, I'm going to use a block, and I invite you to try using a block. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if you want to try it the skinny way, the block will go in between the thighs. You'll hug the knees up, and then the knees will go up and over to your left while the hips go to the right. And that block will help align things a bit more, help you stack the hips. And so if that feels more freeing, more spacious to you, you could try that. If it doesn't work, release the block. For some folks, it'll feel better to put that block underneath the bottom leg. So that's another option, okay? And then you can decide what you want to do with the arms. Maybe the arms go out wide or in that cactus formation. Be willing to play and make some adjustments here just to find some more ease in this twist. And just continuing to work with that smooth and steady breath. Again, feel free to linger here if you're really happy here. You can hold this for several minutes if you'd like. If you're ready to move on an inhale, you'll come through center. And then we'll just pause, giving ourselves a moment to recalibrate before we do the second side. And I'm going to spin around here because I've got a wall on one side of me. So if you need to make adjustments to accommodate your twist, you do that too. Then if you are using the block, you'll place it in between the thighs. Squeeze the knees up. Knees go up and over to the right this time. Hips go to the left. And again, feel free to make those adjustments, okay? We don't want to just linger here in discomfort. This is a more restorative style pose. So we want it to be effortless and easeful. Which variation of the arms does it work for you on this side? Be willing to make those adjustments and just make the pose work for you. We never have to force our body into a pose. It's the other way around. We adapt the pose to work for our body on that given day.
recognizing that the needs of the body, those are constantly evolving and changing. And so to really be present here and work with the body as it is, not how it was 20 years ago or how we wish it would be, but just as it is right now, is an incredible gift you can give the body, but also is this beautiful invitation to be present here and now. On an inhale, take your time. You'll come on back through center. Release the block or the props or anything that you might be using. Take a moment to just pause and feel. When you're reclined, what you see me doing right here is called constructive rest. So the feet are wide, the knees knocked together. And this can be a nice option if you have lower back tenderness, then this can take some pressure off that lower back. So you're welcome to stay just like this, or maybe you lengthen the legs out and down the mat. If there are props that you like to use for your Shavasana, I invite you to set those up. And I am going to go ahead and sign off now, but I encourage you to spend at least a few moments in your Shavasana, maybe even 5 or 10 minutes, and allow that stillness and silence to be a refuge for you. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope to see you again soon. From my heart to yours, namaste.